Hey, how's it everybody? Spark here with your surf report for the coast of South Africa from Tuesday the 14th of November to round about Tuesday the 21st of November 2017. Okay, so we have some rather interesting conditions out there, not so much to the west, but certainly to the east. As I'm going to show you, we've got some interesting east swell heading towards the KZN coast, and hopefully like a green light for the Cell C Goodwave, possibly on Saturday. Pending what the wind does, which does seem to be a little bit of a problem, and of course always is in KZN during summer when the land heats up so rapidly during the day and sucks the air in from the ocean, and often actually the winds do upgrade to the worse during summer as well, so that is a major problem. But otherwise, I'm just going to show you a little bit about what's going on generally and to the west. We've got this weird little setup going on here, a little low pressure system, almost a tropical storm, surrounded by high pressure out here in the Atlantic Ocean, and then a big area of low pressure to the west below South America. That strengthens, that little system basically dies away as this big system moves into play, and by Wednesday it's pointing towards Africa, and by Wednesday evening it's actually starting to look a little bit promising for a good swell for Cape Town. But of course during the course of Wednesday it inverts, moves in on itself, and then faces in the wrong direction, and that goes pear-shaped. But of course you might just get a little bit of the radial propagation from that swell that might arrive in Cape Town late on the weekend, maybe Sunday, a couple of ways, but otherwise fairly bleak with a big high pressure system sitting here, and lots of southeast winds ahead for us, although it does look like a little bit of rain too here and there, and hopefully some catchment area rain will fall. But let's just go to the east coast now and look at that system, okay? So I'm going to just kind of ignore the west coast for a little while now and just start zooming in a little bit on the east coast. So on Wednesday afternoon, there is a little bit of a buster that's blasting up the east coast, okay? And then by Wednesday evening, still pumping westerlies, and there's been quite a bit of rain and will be rain, a big chunk of rain actually moving up the coast. By Thursday morning, it's actually moved all the way up into Mozambique. But if you had to look at earlier on Wednesday, you will see lots of rain moving up the coast and pouring in places actually along the east coast. There are sections of it in Mozambique, a deluge. Wish we could have some of that in the Cape, man. But anyway, so Thursday, the storm starts to do some interesting things. Basically, that long fetch that's around this low pressure system over here is blasting a big wide band of southeast wind fetch towards the KZN coast, and to actually kind of more towards Mozambique, in fact, and the north coast. But that's a wide band of very wind swell kind of conditions, and nothing really is showing in Durban by then. But come Thursday afternoon and into the evening, it starts to become a lot more defined as a proper low pressure system detached from the coast and sitting there, packing nice bit of punch. And in fact, if we go to the GFS, which is a much more trustworthy model, many people's eyes, and you can see that the storm is now starting to pack perfect wind speed and wind direction for Durban for a swell. And considering that the distance that we're looking at here is, let's just have a quick look and I'll show you. So more or less, call it from there to there, and you've got a distance of 300, call it 400 nautical miles. So you've got basically a day of travel, between sort of 12 and 24 hours of travel, and it's only just starting to peak in the right quadrant late on Thursday. So it's only going to be spreading the swell on Thursday at midnight. So you're looking at 12 hours hence. Check at this now. By early hours, like 4 a.m., 7 a.m., it's perfect. It's sitting in a perfect position. It's not moving fast. It's really powerful, and it's got serious grunt, okay? It's got wind speeds in excess of 40 knots, okay? And so you're looking at least a 5-meter swell that's going to be peaking. But of course now you need to give it you need to give it 12 to 24 hours lead time. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the swell peak is going to be on Saturday. And then the reason why it's going to be fading on Sunday is because, look, on Saturday, the storm is moving away. And it needs, as I say, 24 hours of travel time. So you can see that it's already kind of losing it, as they say. So anyway, Friday and Saturday is when the swell is going to be up in Durban. Okay, now let's just zoom in. Let's hopefully see what the winds are doing. Sadly, This is a major factor, a major problem. Friday, the winds are west, strong in the morning, and a nice clean west, and so there's probably going to be nice 4-foot waves, maybe 5-foot waves, and then getting bigger and bigger all day. But as the swell is filling in properly, you're going to be getting southeast winds, and it goes quite gnarly and nasty. But then, of course, it glasses off overnight, and then come morning early, you got absolutely sublime conditions early in the morning. I mean, look at that band of perfect northwest. And if we had to zoom right in on Durban there and have another little look there and say, right, well, where are we at on Saturday at 7 a.m., just after the sun's come up, quite a while after the sun's come up, I guess, but you're looking at a 3-meter swell at 13 seconds at 140 degrees, epic direction, perfect. So it's firing and it's going off. But of course, how long is that going to last? That's the problem. And if we look at the wind, sadly, by lunchtime, you got a rather fresh onshore picking up. It's kind of sad. I mean, it's the sort of thing that if you'd want, you'd want this to run when the conditions are perfect over maybe 2 days, from dawn till 10 a.m. each day, because of course in summer, onshore is a bit of an issue. But that's not really feasible logistically. So my gut feeling tells me that we're going to get skunked by the wind. But Friday, swell-wise, it's actually suggesting that there are really good waves as well. I mean, there's 4 meters of swell at 150 degrees, so there's a little bit more south in it originally. And then it goes a little bit more southeast. It gains 10 degrees of east and goes smaller, but it picks up 2 seconds of period. So I think Friday you're looking at the swell really jacking up all the time. Check by noon, it's 12 seconds at 4 meters. And then overnight into Saturday, it's when it starts to peak and we get that 13 seconds. That is really epic. So yeah, let's really hold thumbs that there's going to be some waves for Saturday morning. And then apart from that, yeah, I mean, not much really more to report. I wish there could be some rain in Cape Town, and there is rain due. We could be in for some really interesting rainfalls, but it's a long way out, and of course it's never a good idea to hold too much store on these long range forecasts, especially when it comes to rain. But it certainly is showing and suggesting some really heavy rain over the catchment areas, which are these 2 dams here. Anyway, that's it from me. Good luck, have some good waves, and ciao for now.